Hello, everyone. My name is Alessandro Chiarini. I'm the CEO, co-founder, and president of Fortr3ss. We are an intelligent biometrics company. So when Gary asked me to come up here and speak here for 7 minutes, I kind of had a challenge with that because our entire demo is about 3 seconds. So I'm going to fill in the gaps with some background story and see how we got here. So 5 years ago, I was on a business trip through Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I joined an airport free Wi-Fi. I did my business, I got on my international flight, and when I landed, that airport free Wi-Fi cost me $5,000 in unauthorized banking transactions, as that airport free Wi-Fi wasn't free, it wasn't even at the airport, it was someone's phone, and they got all the cookies off my browser, all my usernames and passwords, and started to hijack my accounts. Now, that wasn't the real problem. The real problem was that now I had created a fancy password mechanism for all my sites that is individual by site, and now I had to change not only my formula, but I had to go change it on about 35 to 40 sites. I've experienced that pain before. So, to make that challenge even worse, I had just gone to a security conference where the CTO of Chase said, well, you know, how do you fool a hacker is you take all those challenge questions and you give them fake answers. So now I didn't know if my answers were fake or if were real, and I'm trying to reset everything. And I said, well, you know, as an engineer, there's a better way to do this. So I went out on a little sabbatical that summer. I went to do a little research on facial. I went to fingerprint. I went to behavioral, to walking gait, you name it. I looked at all different types of biometrics. And I got a fancy new Samsung phone. In my Samsung phone, the first thing I saw in the disclaimer for my facial recognition is your phone could be unlocked by someone that looks like you. However, face recognition is less secure than pattern, PIN, or password. So that was a little bit disconcerting. Then I saw, consider the conditions when you're wearing glasses, hats, masks, beards, or heavy makeup. Well, to me, that sounds like a Friday night, so that's not going to work for me. So now we'll get to the password part of our demo, or our short 3-second demo. So where did we come up with Fortr3ss? Fortr3ss, we decided there was really two intelligent biometrics. One is a passive biometric, and the second is a voice biometric. The passive is ongoing, happens all the time. We already know it's you by the way that you use your phone, so it's a continual biometric. And for us, the voice is a step-up security. That step-up security allows me to do things like wire transfer greater than 5,000, do a HIPAA-compliant transaction, digital rights media by downloading a movie that I want to use as content, so something that requires an elevated risk. So with that, 085-7964-321. So we did that verification. Now it knows that it's me with a combination of two methods, and we get to kind of one of our products that we developed after we created this Fortr3ss ID. So Fortr3ss ID became, the first one was a password manager. So the first thing was, hey, I had to fix my problem of resetting all my passwords, and I just want to log in with my voice. So with our password manager, we kind of created a product that allows me to click through these things and then start automatically logging into sites without having to remember the password. And we instruct users to put 15-character passwords, fake answer questions, all those things, because it won't matter anymore. They don't have to do the passwords. We evolved into adding payments into the solution, and that kind of made us think, well, why can't we just talk through a payment? Like, pay Alexandra $100. That's my wife who's sitting in the crowd, and 100's definitely not enough. So we decided to kind of step up the security on payment transactions. Identification. So right here, we just started to store IDs, health insurance IDs, driver's licenses, passports. This led us to go into a proof of concept with the Department of Homeland Security for first responders. Are the first responders certified? Are they the right first responders? Should they be on site? So we got into that government section. And then we got into storing some private notes. So I can put my leads that I don't want any of my salespeople to see because they're mine, my commission's mine. Airline memberships, Bank of America. So is any Bank of America employees here in the room? Okay, I need you guys to kind of close your ears for a second. So in the morning, what I like to do in my spare time, which is about 1 minute at 4:45 a.m. and about 10 minutes at about 10 p.m., is I decide to go and attack these intelligent chatbots to see what works and what doesn't. And I got to pick on the Bank of America one since we bank with them. And Bank of America has a chatbot that's intelligent, and it's supposed to know who I am and what I like. So I asked Erica, do you know who I am? And she says, I'm a virtual financial assistant. And I said, I'm always here to answer your questions. And I said, funny that, she hasn't answered my question. She doesn't know who I am. What is my identity? I didn't understand that. Could you please rephrase it? So maybe I thought it was being difficult. So I just said, who am I? And she said, here's some ways I can help. So as fancy as I logged into that app, used a fingerprint, had my username and password, intelligent chatbot didn't know who I was and couldn't cater services to me. And while I see that all these things are progressing, there's still a gap in identifying identity. So what do we do at Fortr3ss? We are basically an identity provider that gives you a continual biometric in many different use cases. We created a password manager more as an internal joke because our password manager was designed to make passwords go away. So we decided, hey, let's create a password manager. But more importantly, because we wanted to make money as a startup, we had to go back to the enterprise, and we created an Active Directory integration, a Linux integration, a Citrix integration. We sell that to the enterprises so they can use a voice biometric sign-on. With that experience, we kind of evolved into a customer experience company. And that's basically what we are, right? So as a bank or as an entity, you want to retain your customers. You don't want to drive them away. I don't know if you guys are like me, that if I get frustrated with a bank or a software, I abandon it and I move on to something else that has a much better user experience, like an Uber or like a Stripe or like a Venmo, things that make it easier to do. And that's what we want to provide to everybody in the room and everybody that wants to really make identification a lot simpler. And then the last product that we launched is, look, we have all these mobile developers that are still having challenges with people logging in. They're doing usernames and passwords. They're trying all these different biometrics. So we decided to provide an SDK for everybody to consume and use to make their experience happier and their customer retention happier. So with that, we are growing as a company. We did research and development for only 3 years with some high-level people, PhDs, and designed a very intelligent application. We launched at the end of last year, and our first customer partner became Visa, and we started a lot of financial services markets. That's why we're here. But we've also done healthcare integrations. We're now with digital rights media and companies like Comcast protecting digital content. Again, it's all about the security of the application while making it as easy as possible to log in. And with that, we'll be at the booth back there. We're happy to discuss any of our solutions, and also we're raising capital. We are growing as a company. We're getting a lot of customer adoption. We'd like to have someone share that growth with us. And with that, I just wanted to leave you this picture because I thought it was cool. Thank you, everybody.